Trends change, bottle designs change, and every year we're introduced to hundreds of new fragrances. But some perfumes simply refuse to disappear. They may come from completely different eras. They may have different styles, different personalities, different ways of making an impression. Yet somehow, they still smell beautiful today, because great fragrance doesn't need to follow a trend. It creates its own. Today, we're counting down 10 perfumes that prove great scents never go out of style. From nostalgic classics and elegant hidden gems to modern icons that continue to feel just as captivating years after their debut. Let's begin. Wild Musk by Coty. We begin with a fragrance that proves simplicity can have incredible staying power. Soft musk creates the heart of the fragrance, surrounded by delicate florals that add just enough sweetness and softness. A warm, clean, skin-like character develops underneath, creating an intimate trail that feels comforting rather than overwhelming. The mood is effortless sensuality, intimate, comforting, sensual. It feels like the scent of naturally warm skin after a long, relaxing day. There's something wonderfully uncomplicated about Wild Musk. It doesn't need a complicated pyramid of notes or an elaborate presentation to make its presence known. Often found around $10 to $20, a quietly enduring Coty classic that proves sometimes the simplest fragrances are the ones that stay with us the longest. Sand and Sable by Coty. From clean musk to a floral classic with unmistakable personality. Creamy white florals open with a rich, velvety presence before jasmine, gardenia, and ylang-ylang bloom into a lush floral heart. Soft woods gradually appear underneath, adding warmth and giving the fragrance a smooth, elegant finish. The mood is timeless femininity. Feminine, elegant, nostalgic. It feels like stepping into a beautifully preserved chapter of classic perfumery. There's something wonderfully distinctive about Sand and Sable. The florals aren't trying to imitate modern trends. They have their own character, their own sense of presence, and a charm that feels increasingly rare today. Often found around $15 to $25. A nostalgic Coty classic that proves a fragrance doesn't need to follow modern trends to remain effortlessly elegant. Vanderbilt by Gloria Vanderbilt. Now we step into one of the great affordable classics. Peach and Bogart open with a bright, softly fruity touch before lavender adds an aromatic edge. Rose, jasmine, and carnation create a rich floral heart, while vanilla, musk, and warm woods settle underneath with a smooth, comforting depth. The mood is classic confidence, confident, romantic, surprisingly luxurious. It feels like discovering a beautifully dressed fragrance at a price that almost seems impossible. There's something unmistakable about Vanderbilt. It doesn't smell generic, and it certainly doesn't try to imitate the latest luxury release. Often found around $15 to $25, an enduring Gloria Vanderbilt classic that proves a timeless fragrance can build a loyal following without ever carrying a luxury price tag. Amethyst by Lalique. From old-school glamour to a fruity floral that still feels completely distinctive. Blackcurrant, blackberry, and raspberry burst open with a juicy, almost sparkling sweetness before rose and peony add a soft floral elegance. Pepper gives the composition an unexpected twist, while musk and vanilla smooth everything into a polished, lingering finish. The mood is playful sophistication. Juicy, elegant, distinctive. It feels like biting into perfectly ripe berries while surrounded by freshly blooming flowers. The fruitiness is bright and playful, but never feels childish. That subtle peppery edge gives the fragrance personality, while the soft musk and vanilla make the dry down feel surprisingly refined. Often found around $45 to $70. A beautifully distinctive Lalique classic that proves playful sweetness and sophisticated elegance can exist in the same bottle. Splendor by Elizabeth Arden. Now timeless femininity takes a softer turn. Sweet pea and water lily open with a delicate airy freshness, before hyacinth and magnolia bring a graceful floral softness. Rose adds a romantic touch, while musk, sandalwood, and amber settle underneath with a warm, polished finish. The mood is graceful femininity, airy, romantic, polished. It feels like walking through a quiet flower garden on a warm spring morning. There's something beautifully gentle about Splendor. The florals feel classic without becoming heavy, while the warm base gives the fragrance just enough depth to keep it feeling complete. Often found around $20 to $35. A graceful Elizabeth Arden classic that proves timeless femininity doesn't need to feel old-fashioned. It simply needs to be beautifully done. Truth by Calvin Klein. Halfway through our list, minimalism becomes the star. Bamboo opens with a fresh green brightness before silk tree blossom adds a delicate floral softness. Blackberry brings a subtle fruity touch, while patchouli, vanilla, and soft woods create an earthy warmth that keeps the composition smooth and quietly sensual. The mood is natural sophistication. Natural, calm, sensual. It feels like stepping away from the noise and finding a quiet place all your own. Truth doesn't chase attention with dramatic sweetness or overwhelming projection. Instead, it creates a clean, intimate aura that feels effortless on the skin. Often found around $30 to $50. A beautifully understated Calvin Klein fragrance that proves sometimes the most captivating presence is the one that never needs to shout. Lolitaland by Lolita Lempicka. Now sweetness takes us somewhere completely unexpected. Orange, mandarin, and grapefruit open with a bright burst of citrus before blackcurrant and plum add a juicy, colorful sweetness. Jasmine and magnolia bring a dreamy floral softness, while vanilla and white musk create a creamy finish that feels playful, whimsical, and beautifully inviting. The mood is enchanted sweetness, playful, dreamy, deliciously feminine. It feels like stepping into a candy-colored fairy tale where everything smells just a little more magical than it should. The fruitiness is vibrant, but there's something more unusual underneath it. The florals keep the composition elegant, while the vanilla gives it that delicious gourmand warmth without making it feel ordinary. Often found around $40 to $65. A whimsical fruity gourmand that proves the most memorable sweet perfumes are the ones with a little imagination. Jaipur Bracelet by Boucheron. Now we discover a fragrance that feels like jewelry for the skin. Violet leaf and bitter orange open with a crisp, elegant brightness before mandarin adds a soft citrus glow. Rose, iris, osmanthus, and hyacinth unfold into a beautifully layered floral heart, while cypress and cashmere wood create a smooth, sophisticated finish. The mood is understated opulence, graceful, luxurious, intricate. It feels like slipping on a beautifully crafted piece of jewelry, subtle enough for everyday wear, yet special enough to make you feel instantly more polished. Nothing about it feels rushed or overly trendy. Instead, the composition unfolds with a kind of careful balance that makes classic perfumery so captivating. Often found around $45 to $70. A beautifully refined Boucheron creation that proves true elegance, much like fine jewelry, never needs to chase a trend to remain timeless. Chanel number 19. Now we arrive at a fragrance that has made elegance feel effortless for generations. Green galbanum opens with a crisp, unmistakably distinctive edge before iris, rose, lily of the valley, and jasmine create a beautifully structured floral heart. Vetiver, leather, and oak moss add depth underneath, giving the fragrance a refined green character that feels both sharp and sophisticated. The mood is confident elegance, crisp, sophisticated, distinctive. It feels like wearing a perfectly tailored suit in a room full of passing trends. There's nothing ordinary about number 19. The green freshness gives it an almost commanding clarity, while the powdery florals and earthy base keep it beautifully polished. Often found around $120 to $180. A legendary Chanel classic that proves true elegance doesn't follow fragrance trends. It creates its own standard. Soleil Blanc by Tom Ford. And finally, a fragrance that turns timeless elegance into a destination. Pistachio and bergamot open with a bright, creamy freshness before cardamom adds a subtle, spicy warmth. Ylang-ylang, jasmine, and tuberose create a radiant floral heart, while coconut, amber, and benzoin melt together into a smooth, sun-warmed finish. The mood is endless summer luxury. Radiant, sensual, luxurious. It feels like stepping onto a private beach where the sun never seems to set. There's something incredibly atmospheric about Soleil Blanc. The creamy coconut gives it that unmistakable vacation character, while the florals and warm amber keep it sophisticated rather than simply tropical. Often found around $290 to $350. A beautifully radiant Tom Ford creation that reminds us trends eventually disappear. But when a fragrance creates an atmosphere this unforgettable, time only makes it feel more like a classic. And there you have it, 10 perfumes that prove great scents never go out of style. From affordable musk classics, to forgotten floral treasures, to modern design icons and luxurious summer masterpieces. These fragrances may come from different generations, but they all have one thing in common. Now tell me, which timeless perfume do you think will never go out of style? And which classic fragrance would you add to this list? If you love discovering timeless perfumes, forgotten classics, and fragrances that continue to smell incredible year after year, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Because trends come and go, but a truly great scent never needs an expiration date.